Twitch. So anything you say or do will be held against you in the TOS terms of service, I guess. But here we go. We're going to kick it off. I'll start the counter in just a moment. Each game will be played for 15 minutes. This is a chance for us to just take a look at what you're currently doing. This isn't meant to be a stressful playtest situation, but more a casual run through of your current build of your game, and an opportunity for each team to share your razor pitch, talk to the crowd, everyone here on Twitch, like they've never heard of your game, give us an update, and then we'd like to hear, this is sprint number 7, so tell us what you accomplished this sprint and your plans going forward is what we'd love to hear. Before we get started though, we need to update Weird Hat Fight on Steam. This is one of our games currently. Is it currently released? What's the current status?
No, it is currently. It's coming soon on Steam. We're hoping to push it to early access or release soon.
But I will say this: since it's already on Steam, you're like probably 90% there, like, right?
Yeah.
For early access. Okay. So we need to get a beta build. So how do I go about doing that?
All right. So find it in your library on the left-hand side.
Okay.
And then right-click on it.
Okay. Weird Hat Fight. Right click.
Properties. Betas.
I love it.
And then change that from none to beta.
Beta.
And then you just need to click the update button. You'll notice you now have an update button.
Oh, magic. Oh, it's up.
Yeah.
Is it updating itself?
Yeah, it's updated itself, and it should be pretty small. Yeah, it's 13
going
megabytes.
Pretty fast. Awesome. That was seamless.
Yes, the reason why we need to do that is because we're also doing our playtesting via Steam. So this build is not quite stable. It has a lot more bugs than we're comfortable doing playtesting with. So you'll probably run into a bunch of those.
I've said this before to the group. I love bugs. This is the time to have bugs. So don't ever apologize for the bugs unless. Here's the only time I think you should apologize for a bug is if it's been through playtesting several times now and it's been brought up several times, right? That's when you should apologize for bugs. But fresh bugs that you weren't aware of, they're fantastic. So let's do this. What do I do? Push play?
Push play, and then if you want to invite me via Steam,
I do want to.
I think we can just. What do you think? Yeah, let's bring Emily. Do you want to join us in joining, and we could just do a 3-player game?
Sure.
Awesome.
I was just about to send Gabe my friend code so he could add me.
Oh, sweet.
I did it over Zoom.
Oh, okay. I can't. I'm not.
Yeah, I might want
to
block the screen with that.
No, I'm not. I'm not on Zoom on this computer. So, is there?
I guess I could do it over Slack.
Yeah.
That's gonna be hard. Do you? Can you look up my name and do it? Here's my name up here.
Yeah, you can also do that.
So
it's
you have you.
Blurry. Hold on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What is it?
It's here. Let me. You know what? I'll send it to you on Slack.
I think I can actually give you. I think I can actually give Emily your direct profile.
Oh, there you go.
I'm DMing that to you via Discord, Emily. Let me just actually find you on Discord real quick. Here we go.
Big lesson learned last week during Capstone is I actually shut down anything that will show personal information on this PC. Otherwise, I just have to delete the VOD right after I'm done because, safety.
Mm-hmm.
While we're doing that, Josh, do you want to tell us about your game?
Yeah, so our game is Weird Hat Fight. We're the game where you use magical hats to fight your friends to the death. We're a PvP party game in a similar vein, somewhat to kind of in a similar game to Smash Bros, but a bit more casual, kind of halfway between Smash Bros and Gang Beasts, for as discordant of a genre that change that is. So yeah.
That's awesome. So I swear I just got a friend invite.
You did. It's Steam hides it. It's the little waving hand with the one next to it.
Oh my goodness.
In the top of your friend's bar.
Yeah, go.
Right here, right? No, wait.
No.
It's somewhere else now?
Go up.
Yeah, it's up. It's the gray bar.
Oh my goodness.
Friends.
Okay.
Right there.
You
guys.
Me. I need to, I've been playing on the Switch. So.
I think you ignored her friend request.
You just ignored my friend request.
You're kidding me. You're kidding me.
Okay, wait. Let me do it again.
That's because I'm a pro. Oh my gosh. Can I edit this part out?
Please try again. Oh no.
Wait, how do I find my ignored
It might
ones?
be because you ignored it that she can't send another
Oh my
without
gosh.
you sending it.
You've got to be kidding me.
All right, well,
This is
never mind.
unfortunate.
We'll play
Wait.
a two-player game and work this out later.
What is wrong with me? How do you can't unignore? Wow, I messed up that one. You're welcome, guys.
All right, it's okay. We'll play a two-player game. So anyway, if you click invite to play anyone to play there, you can invite me to play.
Okay.
It's up. Yeah, it's right near the top.
Yeah,
right there.
guys, it's early morning. I've been messing with technical stuff. Shaiko Sama says Bazinga. I think they're pretty excited to see me just mess up on chat. So, okay, so we're okay. Add another guest. Here we go.
Yep.
Oh, guest number 2. Cancel. I'm done.
You
I'm
might
clicking.
need to find me. Here, let me. You might need to find me and your online friends.
I
Right.
found
click
you.
Join. Yeah, invite remote play together.
Yep.
And there we go. And I can go play.
Oh, this is awesome. Well, that was easy. Once you know, are you in the game now?
I am indeed.
Okay. How do I now? Now I want to get rid of all this stuff.
That's just Shift Tab to hide it.
Oh yeah. There we go. All right, awesome people. Here we go.
So you need to actually use the mouse and keyboard for this menu. It's one of the many glitchy things.
So it's not working on the play button.
Cool. This is what I was worried about. Maybe we're not doing the beta today. There's unfortunately no real easy way to skip this if it's not working. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Enter.
So I guess quit and then switch off the beta build, and we'll do that one instead.
Okay. We'll do the magic Alt F4 button. Here we go. Okay, we're gonna. I hit play again. Dang it! I did not mean to do that. You guys, 10 minutes or 15 minutes goes by fast, especially if you're having tech issues. Okay, so how do I get to the normal build?
So it's the exact same way, except instead of going from none to beta, you go from beta to none.
Okay, we will go to properties. We'll go to beta. We'll say none. We will say there we go. And now it's reverting. Is it reverting back? Updating back to none. Okay. All right.
Take 2.
Here we go. You know what? This is real time. This is actually really fun for me. It's an inner eye into the process of game making. You don't just turn it on and play. You have to use user error and all that fun stuff. So okay, so now I need to get you back in. So now I know what I'm doing. There's Baxter right there. Bada bing, bada boom. Remote play together. What I'm talking about. And
So much nicer than it used to be to join into a game.
yeah, that is awesome. We used to tell us about how we used to do this.
So since COVID and everything, we used to be using Parsec, which is a great piece of software, but that is designed to let you really play games remotely with each other, much like Steven's doing here. But it's a bit finicky, and it also requires a million button presses and doesn't have the most intuitive UI. So
yeah, so this is fantastic because this will be how it's legitimately shown after. So I'm using my mouse and I'm still not able to start match. Is that?
that's because you press the start button to start. So the
Oh my
start button on
goodness.
your controller.
Magic! Straight from the controller. I have to go to the keyboard. Okay, let's try the arena.
Yep. So you select and then you press start. That'll be a bit more clear once that thing that says start game is replaced with like the symbol for the start button. Yep, I'm on the wrong side.
I won already.
Yep, I already lost life.
So getting started here. I know we're playing an older build, right? But tell us about any changes you've made over the course of this sprint. What was the focus of your?
So this sprint has a lot of things that are, especially in this build, not yet realized. So there's UI. We're getting right now. You can see we only have a single animation, regardless of what we're doing, which is that little walking animation. Mm-hmm. We're getting in the animations. What this one does have that you can see is it has our ragdoll characters actually in it. So you'll notice that when you hit the characters, they kind of flop over and everything. We're still working on getting that quite polished how we want it, but we think it feels a lot better.
Yeah, that's awesome. Have there been any changes or adjustments to the like the player feedback.
What do you mean? Just general player feedback?
Yeah, like to the art of it. Like I notice here, right? So like I jump as the bunny. I don't hear like a spring sound.
You can't hear. I
can hear it now.
I can hear the spring sound.
Yeah,
that's been in the game. That's been in the game since we had that. So
right. No, that I can hear it now. I guess it's just subtle.
But yeah, no, we are working to make that more clear. There's a lot of various different things that need polish. One of the things is our artists are working to go get the hats. None of the sound effects are final, by the way. We're still waiting on our sound effects artists to finish those up. So
that's awesome. And I know you mentioned like this is placeholder music, right?
Yes.
So can you tell us about the what's going on with the music production? What you have planned?
I am unfortunately not completely up to date on what's going on with that. I know that we're in contact with Berkeley to provide our music, and we do have some contact there who's working with us.
Yeah, and for anyone not familiar, what is our relationship with Berkeley?
So here at the EAE program, we work with Berkeley to at Berkeley's music program, and they help us make the music for our games. No, I'm dead.
That's awesome. So one of the comments from the chat, Shen said, I'd be tempted to flip your music sound effects volume. So the sound effects are stronger than the background music. But I know you're going to be changing your background music too. So
yeah, that's good feedback. We there's really no attention that we've paid to those beyond stubbing and placeholders right now because we wanted to wait for the real ones. So,
and you said that's coming in pretty soon.
Hopefully, that's the hope.
We're gonna check out the movement gym now.
Sounds good. So this is obviously not going to be in the final game because this is our gym. So it's as far as gyms go, it's exceedingly simple because we don't really need that much complex. We have some moving platforms. We have all of our hats, and then we have the areas of where you die if you jump out of clearly demarcated.
So I know you say this won't be in the game, but I don't know, from an under the hood kind of standpoint, I like the idea of this developer gym where it's just like test things out. Do something like this. Dance on the Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, we do want to try and see if we can get some moving elements in. We might just put in like one of these some of these moving platforms, like the spinny thing in the center of the arena, for example, just to spice up our games. It's,
that's
awesome. It's
awesome.
fairly easy to throw it in.
Yeah, I love that stuff. And then you have some hats here that are on the cutting room floor. Is that right, or is that?
No, there's guaranteed spawns of all of the hats right here. I picked up the night hat with it.
Also,
the
this vacuum hat
is on the cutting room floor because it causes all sorts of issues.
That made me sad because I think it's cool.
I think it's cool too. It also likes to break the game like nothing else.
So what's the difference between the vacuum hat and the frog hat?
Yeah, the frog hat steals other people's hats. The vacuum hat sucks the person inside and then throws them out again.
Oh, that's awesome.
That means that while they're sucked inside, we have to do a lot of management, like disabling their character,
right,
and doing things like rerouting the inputs so that they can struggle their way out of the vacuum hat. That really makes everything up.
Right. Didn't you originally have like a demo where you were inside the vacuum looking out, or was that something else?
I don't think we had anything like that.
Oh, that would have been funny.
Yeah.
Oh, but because you don't have the player point of view. I apologize.
Yeah.
Shenzilla says sounds both awesome and hard to do.
Yeah, it definitely is.
And then someone said I can be Nunu. I don't know who Nunu is. This is great. So what are the big? So we might have mentioned this, but what are the big plans coming up for early access?
The biggest things leading into early access is you'll see whenever we finish this. There's the postman up. Well, I apparently fell through the floor.
Nice.
Is to fix falling through the floor entirely because I wasn't sure. I wasn't aware that was in the game. And then followed that. Fix the. We want to get the animations like I was talking about, and we're trying to get our UI to a good final state with menus that are necessary for the game and stuff. And we want to get this post-match results screen in. And then, of course, we want to get all our art in because we have a lot of art that is as of yet sitting around unimplemented, either due to tech reasons or it needs some other supplementary art, and that it can't be implemented really without. So there's a whole bunch of a big art pass that we're waiting on right now, or working on, not waiting on. Sorry.
Oh, that's awesome. Those sound like some major updates. I'm pretty excited. So tell me this: if what is your current playtesting schedule? What are you looking for as far as feedback on your game? Can anybody watching this get in, play, give you feedback?
Right now, anybody can just play it via the itch, which I will quickly throw our itch link into the Twitch chat if anybody wants to go download it. The Steam builds are currently restricted directly to our playtests, just due to limited keys, which Erica is thankfully helping us with. In terms of feedback that we're looking for, we're really just looking on feedback of most things. We've fortunately gotten a lot of feedback that our game is fun and in a good state there. So we're really just working on polish and would love to hear what people have to say regarding that.
Okay, no, that's awesome. So after early access, will people be able to just play from Steam, play with their friends? Is that?
Yep.
So I imagine that'll be a huge point in getting a lot of user feedback, right? Player feedback.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. That's so fantastic. All right, we are going to move on in just a second, but I want to give a chance. Anyone watching live, any questions you have for these developers? What would you like to see in their game? Shenzilla says Teletubbies. I think that's from a previous comment, though.
No. We need to add this to the game.
Teletubbies? Oh, Teletubby skins?
Environmental obstacles. Yeah, that's definitely something we want to get thrown in there. It's unfortunately one of our lower priorities, though. It might get amped up a bit just because it's not too hard to do and everybody wants it.
Especially if everyone's requesting it, right? Yeah, so I think Pepperoni made a comment up above that they have a springboard that sends you into ragdoll mode. Chenzilla says, I'm psyched for the art ads, particles, sound seem key. Yeah, that Chenzilla, 100%. These are the juice aspects. I think to Josh's point, the game is already super fun. And now every little particle, every sound effect, every piece of juice is just gonna act literally like an amplifier. Just like if you're setting up a speaker in your car, it sounds good, the music is all there and it's great, but once you amplify it, it just makes it so much better. The tones are deeper, everything sounds better. And so, yeah, I'm excited. I am super amped for your update for the early access. So, Josh, thank you so much for your time. This has been Weird Hats, and thank you to the team of Weird Hats. You are all magnificent, and I'm excited to see all the work you're going to do. And last comment, Shinzilla says, I agree that playfield variety would be great. Breakables even, just a few berries that you can use to save yourself, etc. All right, Pepperoni says, looks fun for sure. All right, we are going to move on while I'm getting destroyed. Thank you, Josh.
Thank
all
you.
Right, next up on the list, who was next on our list? It was Dissonance. Anyone here from Team Dissonance?
Good.
Hey, I can hear you. You there?
Yep, I'm here.
Awesome. Oh, man, Emily, I'm so sorry. I just saw your Steam friend code. Okay, we'll get that fixed out next time. Okay, so we have Team Dissonance here. You're a little bit quiet, but that's okay. We're gonna get started. We're gonna check out your itch.io page. So most of these games are available on itch. You can play test them now. This is Team Dissonance. What can you tell us about Dissonance?
Well, Dissonance is a 3D top-down adventure game that features supernatural elements and kind of creepy enemies. That's a little bit weird, but at the same time, strange and interesting.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so we're gonna pop it open. Here we go. We're starting, and this is keyboard and mouse, correct?
Yes, but you can also play on controller.
That's right.
Right now we don't have the UI support for controller.
Okay. So we will do keyboard and mouse. Here we go. We're gonna hit. Should we do new game? Continue.
New game, please.
Here we go. New game. Here we go. Start from the beginning.
All right.
Oh, I like the blur fade in. So the character starts out with "Oh, my head hurts," and then I like these little cutscenes you do to kind of show you the controllers.
Yeah.
How the control works. So this is the sprint number 7 builds. What were some of the big additions to your game this last sprint?
So we made a lot of new changes to the UI, and we've added new and final characters.
New and final characters.
Also, yeah, and also some iterations on some of the traps and as well as levels.
That's awesome. Okay, so we've got a lot of some. And how many levels are there?
There are 2 currently,
Okay.
but the first level we considered it as the outside layout and also the inside level.
So this is awesome. I'm kind of curious. I've never done this before, but I wanted to see how far I could go. Okay, so I'm glass walled after a little while in here. That's great. I love that you're showing the character behind objects, so I can still see where I'm at. What are some of the biggest challenges you had to face in the creation of this game?
So a lot of challenges are coming from how to make the player understand how this game works. And we've made a lot of efforts in playtesting and gathering feedback. And thanks so much to Erica for conducting playtests. These are really valuable feedback from the faculty and as well as other students and whoever's playtesting our games. We're making changes according to the feedbacks that they have, and trying to make the game more clear mechanically to the player so they can kind of understand how it works and have a sense of, hey, I can do this. It's not clueless type of feeling.
That's awesome. So, can you tell me these creepy little dudes? Can you tell us what the story is behind these characters, like the character design, what you were thinking, or is it shrouded in mystery? What's up?
Well, it's kind of a mystery that's there to be solved by the player, and we don't really want to give the player everything at the start.
Yeah. So who decided on the character art for these little guys?
So it's kind of like a combined effort, but the character concept was made by Yingning,
Okay.
and the model is also made by her.
These are fantastic. That's fantastic. Okay, so we're gonna run here to the edge. Open up our big door. We're going through a giant vault into the mountain. We're gonna check it out. And is this is currently playable on itch.io, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And what's the final platform? Where do you plan on publishing?
We plan on releasing it also on Steam. Hopefully by the end of the semester before EAE launch.
Okay. Now I can't remember how to roll through here.
You should have a UI that's kind of showing you how you kind of should do it.
Space bar. There, it's right down there at the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind having, at least for the first time you do that. I know maybe I missed something because I was chatting with you, and keep in mind I'm doing 2 things at once. But just I'm a big fan of, at least for the first time, and maybe even the second, and maybe even always on an indie game, just like, hey, space to roll, especially if you, like, people will forget and not realize.
Yeah.
Or miss it, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so we got the med kit. Shenzilla says, I love that vault sequence. Shenzilla also says spacebar. Yeah, this is a beautiful game. Can you tell me what kind of role tech art and all the cool effects you have played in since the beginning of development?
Yes. So at the beginning, we have some really cool shaders. That's made by Holden and Danny, and we also had amazing particle effects made by Joshua. So they've been making those into the game, as well as making new shaders and particle effects, like the one here. When you shine the flashlight on the enemy, there should be a pretty cool particle effect.
No, that's awesome. And I can hear like some little. I think I can hear like little grunting when those enemies hit it. I'll tell you, this is just me personally, but like they're flailing their arms like this at you. I just want them like rah, like it could do a couple different things. It could be a high pitched squeal, just like a like something creepy and annoying when they run after you. I'm like dying for that. So can you tell us like any plans you have for like audio, any updates coming up the sprint as far as like any of those juicy quality of life type things?
Yeah, so we're currently working with the Berkeley team on those amazing sound effect and music, and hopefully we will have them by next week, and we can start putting them in just those creepy enemies sound effects.
That's awesome.
And,
Psycho Sama says, since it's top down, shouldn't the areas where the character has no vision of should be blacked out?
I mean, that's like if you think of it, it would make sense. But at the other point of view is if you don't see something, you're not really.
Yeah, I think so. There's a couple ways to look at it, and the way I always kind of look at it, the beautiful thing about 2D games or even top-down, you could look at it that way. I think that's a valid comment that the player, you'd only be able to see what the player was, but some of the puzzle design is that the audience or the player actually gets to see beyond the character view, which actually can be a tool as a designer to help know where to go and what problems to solve. But then Psycho Sama also makes the comment to give a more of a scarier effect, in my opinion. Good call. I always use an example of like the Metroid 2D games when I teach my level design course. There's this moment where you drop down as Samus on a top platform, and you're a weak version of Samus, and then the SAX, the big mega evil Samus, goes walking by, right? And it just scares the snot out of you, even though you can see what the player wouldn't normally. But I think there's validity to what Psycho Sama is saying, so...
Yeah, I do understand. And we're at the beginning of our project, we made it really clear in the team that we're not really making a scary game. We're kind of making a thriller type of game that's not aimed towards scary at all.
Yeah, that's awesome. And Shenzo responded to valid approach. Can you tell me, so I'm just going to give some feedback here. So we've got this really nice cement texture. We've got the rebar sticking out, kind of a realistic kind of rendered. It's still blocky, right? But it feels more polished than the rest of this room. So can you tell me like what the plan is to like, if you were to say this room were completed, what else would have to be done here?
So first of all, the walls has to be textured, and maybe adding more props in that. Also, the doors here are still placeholders, and the cement base for where you pick up the scanner also have to be made.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I imagine like your environment artists are hard at work, but I can imagine like conduit, any kind of like panels that you can create that you could set dress all these walls with, little pillars and posts, that kind of stuff. That hopefully, like I imagine like there would be like a 10 or 15 piece set for wall decorations that could be reused and adjusted to quickly mock this out. Once you've got one nice door fitted and you put the effects on it, maybe some lights open as it goes, could be reused. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm gonna open this bad boy here.
Yeah, and I see another question in chat. So, Psycho Sama again, saying this game
I need
is
a key,
ambiguous. I think in a way, yes. We don't really want to tell the player everything. We kind of want the player to find out what's happening and what are these objects and what are these enemies better on.
Shelenzilla just for are any of your pickups revealed by the scanner? So full disclosure, I played through this level before, but I went and picked up the scanner, and we were chatting, so I completely forgot that I can use it. I think it's a good point in fact that players even at home will get distracted. Who knows, someone's playing it and their mom's like, you know, Johnny, come get your dinner, and you look away for a second and you come back. So I was trying to interact with this door. I was like, why isn't it opening? So I would say make sure that feedback, like, you don't have a key, dummy, like, reads really well. Go find it in the room. Just something to think about. That's awesome. Okay, so we have the key card. We can open it. That's fantastic. First of all, this is beautiful. I want to make it before the 3 minutes are up. We're gonna scoot through here because I want to make it to this boss fight, so you can talk about that. I love that there's now a repeat of that same shape language that I have to roll through. I love reusing things that you've learned in the past. That's awesome. So we're gonna avoid these guys and their red stuff. Okay, so we want to stay out of the area effect altogether. So we're gonna run for it. Oh no, got him again. Okay, we're okay.
And I think Shenzilla had another question, and that is, are any of your pickups revealed by the scanner? So currently, all the pickups are visible, and I think making some of them that can be revealed by the scanner would be awesome. And that will be on our iteration list.
I love this guy. Yeah, and I think you got some feedback, like a little cinematic moment for this guy. It's so cool. Just to show him off. And even like this is the spot where this is so early in the game that most players will make it here, right? So I would say when you look at like kind of the financing of your indie game, right? You've got two ways to look at it. And it's not money because it's a student game, but you finance it with your time, right? So what do you want to spend the most time in? I would actually love it if, like, part way through the fight, maybe you destroy those couple minions, and then there's another cinematic where this thing is just mad and it speeds up a little bit. So it zooms in on him and he kind of rages at you. It would be awesome. There's so much awesome, juicy payoff you can have because this is a cool moment.
Thank you.
We're gonna destroy you. There we go. We got it. We got the robot.
Nice.
And awesome. Then I always worry that I'm gonna step on these and the key stays above that thing, and I always worry that I'm gonna get electrocuted going over it. Something to think about there, because it's dangerous. Shenzilla comments, mech is looking great. My health is going down. I should maybe go get some health. Here we go.
So we've added the function of using health pack. Now you can press E to use your health pack.
There we go. Oh, thanks for thinking about me, Shen. All right, here we go. There's no sprint, right? If I hold shift.
No.
All right, this is fantastic. So that, my friends, anyone watching, is the first level. If anybody wants to play this right now and give you feedback, what do they need to do?
Please go to our HIO and you can reach out to us using the email there or just leave a comment there.
Reach out, leave a comment, be a part of the process. Game developers love feedback, so don't be afraid to share your thoughts about any readability, how you played through, or even just tell them what you thought, whether you loved a certain section, etc. Tell them what you liked, because that truly is how the best games are made, through a lot of playtesting and feedback from those watching. If you want to see what else happens in this game after you make it through this first level, definitely check it out on itch, and we'll share the information. Do you have any like social media or like Twitter, anything? How can they? Yes. What are easy ways to find you?
We do have YouTube channel, and also we have Twitter. You can also find links on our itch page.
Awesome. Fantastic. Okay, so awesome. Well, so great job, Team Dissonance, or it's the game is Dissonance, but the team is Resonance, right?
Yes, that is correct.
It's not confusing at all, my friend. That's perfect. All right, awesome. We're going to move on to the next game. Great job on this so far. Definitely, I am stoked once again to see how much polish and iteration hops into the next build. Like I say, March 3rd. I will be doing a playtest again, probably a solo playtest, because that'll be the early access build. So I'm pretty stoked to play that. All right, let's move on.
Thank you so much, and also thanks so much for Shenzilla in the chat. Thank you.
Yeah, Shenzilla, you are awesome. And Pepperoni. Let's give everybody a shout out. Okay, here we go. Next up is Villa de Muertes. Is anybody here from Villa? Sorry,
Yep.
La Villa de la Muerte. I always mess it up.
It's all good.
You can't just start with the Villa. That's a total gringo way of saying it.
Well, also it's Villa.
Oh my goodness! Yes, of course it is. Villa. I shouldn't even be allowed to attempt it. All right, so we have some notes. This is the itch.io page. If anyone wants to check out La Villa de la Muerte. Let's hear Razor Pitch. Can you tell us real quick about your game and where you're at with Sprint 7?
Yeah, sure. So La Villa de la Muerte is a first-person looping horror game where the player finds themselves in a forgone and ever-changing villa in the late 1800s, while they attempt to uncover not only why they are there, but what has happened to their family that has since vanished from there. And the player reveals this truth by exploring the villa, solving puzzles to complete the loop levels, and avoiding what lurks within that truth.
That's fantastic. And La Villa, for the team here, feel free to post any links to the itch page in the chat, any Twitter or marketing information, anything that anybody might need to know to go check out your game and give you feedback. Part of the reason we do these kind of on Twitch, there's a number of reasons, but one of those is a call to action to get more eyeballs on your game, as well as get more playtesters, because that is how great games are made. But let's just fire this puppy up. Let's see what we have here.
Yeah, this is a slightly older build because we've been in the process of adjusting some things, which I can talk about.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so given some of the feedback that we were grateful enough to receive from Rockstar as well as everybody else, we've decided to, for the sake of scope and for the sake of player usability, a couple things. First, when you get into the villa in a little bit, we're deciding on enclosing or making the kitchen a bit smaller. And one of our rooms is kind of like a smoking room, so kind of just walling them off, making them smaller for the sake of not having to populate them as much.
Yeah.
So that'll help us out. Also, it'll also close off a doorway, which was kind of confusing for some players, so hopefully that'll help out. One other piece of feedback that we received for our second loop, which you'll get to after this one, is that at the moment it's an interaction with our AI ghost, but since we're more formally introducing her in the third, we're changing the second one to just more of a scripted jump scare, where you complete the puzzle and she just kind of pops up and disappears. And that'll also help with as other people have played. We also have a lantern usage. I believe if you press R, you can open it. And some players didn't really know why there was a lantern, so we're incorporating that into the second loop as well.
Awesome. So you're gonna make sense to the
yeah,
put it more into the narrative.
Right. Yeah, it'll make sense to have it in that way. And then lastly, final thing, which is probably the biggest thing for us, are our doors. We're working on how to. One of our engineers has already made another version of our doors to, like, if you're running, so it kind of like flings open, and just because we got feedback that players liked like the manual opening during like spooky moments, but when you're in the middle of trying to run away from the ghost, it's very panic inducing. So we've been working on how to fix that as well.
That's
Just
awesome.
wanted to point those 4 things
Yeah,
out.
no, I appreciate that. And one of the comments I want to make, one of the hardest things to do as a developer is to scope down and scale. Like more, it's less scope in this situation. It's more like scaling down to make sure that you get the quality bar you can. And I must say that happens all the time, and it's hard to do. But I love hearing that. That's a great sign of professionals who want to make the best game they can and realize that the time is not on your side as far as hitting this bar, right? So this is essentially what we're playing is the Sprint 6 build. So you're telling me that there are a lot of changes that are updated to the Sprint 7 build?
Correct, yeah.
Shenzilla says panic is okay as long as the door doesn't feel too hard to use. Can be a bit imprecise if you tune it as well. That's awesome. Crinny is in the chat. Everybody, welcome Crinny and Crinny. Pop open Zoom and be a part of this conversation, if you dare. I know this is a scary game and you may be afraid. So what? Tell me what I'm standing. I stopped here for a reason. What am I standing in front of right here?
Yeah, so this is the villa. One of our tech artists right now is working on the facade of it to make it obviously match everything else. But that is the front of the villa.
Awesome. Okay, I just wanted to point that out. And that's one of the things that, like, from me personally, I love walking through this village right here, and I want to fill that. But I want this villa to be like almost like a cinematic set piece, right? This should be something that really should have a lot of love and care to it. And I think it's okay being blocked out now, but we are getting close to that time of early access where you want to make those moments paid off. Speaking of early access, next sprint, what do you have planned for us? Oh, this is a good moment. This is a good moment right here. This is a good moment. I actually love this. I love that, and I want to hear that door just slam. And maybe my audio's my audio's okay. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, you're good. I'm watching the stream live, so it's a little delayed. So I was watching along with you. So for early access, we do have our Steam account set up. It's now a matter of like all the things are there, but it's a matter of getting those final things to be able to get it approved. So at the moment, we're definitely still on itch, and you just need to get those final, like images that are required for Steam on there. But so for the build itself, we have our 3rd loop functional, the 4th is functional. It's a matter of getting the level streaming in for them, which only doesn't take long. One of our engineers can do that very quickly. So all at least 1 through 4 are functional.
Awesome.
And 5 and 6, we were just talking about this in our stand-up earlier, actually, that 5 and 6 are less difficult to implement than the other 4. So that's a good sign from the engineers that were talking this morning as well. But at least for early access 1 through 4, functionality should be there.
Okay, that's awesome.
Some of these,
go ahead.
Sorry, I just am looking at this. I feel like some of these spaces are so big.
She actually just talked about this, Crinny.
Oh, sorry, I must have missed that
that's
part.
great. That's great. It's okay to repeat it.
Yeah, so I was just telling Gabe beforehand that at least in terms of the kitchen, which is straight back there, and then in a room off to the left of this room, we haven't addressed this room right here, probably because it seemed a little bit less populated, which our other tech artist has been working on making more assets for this area, because this is the area that you go through the most.
Yeah.
But for the kitchen and for this room right to the left right there, Gabe,
this one right? No, it's okay. This blank one, right? This naked room.
Yeah, we're walling off a big chunks of those rooms to make them smaller. Just to not have to populate all of them.
I love it.
And then B, also you can see there's a doorway right there that'll be walled off, so that won't be there anymore.
I really like the lighting with those sconces, but I feel like, so I'm imagining myself, I would light my hair on fire with those. They're so big.
You wouldn't be able to survive in the past, Crinny, before electricity.
I really wouldn't, but I mean, like, turn around the corner again, Gabe, into the kitchen, you would light your hair on fire. So, like, I think you need to set those off a little way. You know what I mean? either you're really short or you would hit your head on those because they're in the doorway. I mean, it's just, I know that's a small thing, but it's really distracting.
Sure. Yeah, two things. One, I remember one of the pieces of feedback that we've gotten in the last 2 weeks was just checking the scale of some things, whether it's stairs or where things are. So we're working on that.
Well,
and then also, oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, most of those candle sconces, like back when in this period, had something in front of them, like a little mesh screen or something, so the flame wasn't just right out.
Or a back plate that kind of protects the wall.
That, and the back plate was for reflection. So, like, you might want to. I mean, I'm sure your tech artists have probably looked at that, or your artists have looked at that, but I think that would go, like, you could keep it that big, but move it a little bit and then add that meshy thing. I keep thinking, oh my God, I don't want to walk anywhere over there.
Actually, I love this conversation because this is the fun part.
This is the stuff at the end.
This is the stuff at the end, and this, for anyone in my level design class, this is exactly why I don't have you put art in your level when it's a block out. Because we will ignore the gameplay in the actual game, and we will just talk about the sconces for 5 minutes. So that it's really good feedback. And so I think to that point too, anything that we notice like that, if your tech team can hurry and fix it, we won't talk about it anymore, right? And so you can get onto the game. I have a question really quick, gameplay wise, because for anyone watching this, I do know the core loops. I've played through this before, but there's some questions I haven't asked before. When I go through this area, can I solve any of those puzzles at the same time? Can I do those loops in any order I want?
No, they are. So it's we have this thing, our level streaming, such that when you complete, like for example in this first one, when you go complete the first puzzle, that then triggers you to be able to go into the next level. So it's very linear in that aspect, in that sense of you complete one and then move on to literally just a copy of this level, but different things in it.
That's awesome. So here would be my question going into this is, and I would love everyone's opinion, but I can go anywhere I want in this house right now, but I know because I played it before, I need to go up the stairs and find something. At least I think that's what it is. So right now, I know you're going to adjust the lights, but the candles are lit everywhere. Everything's lit. Coming into this room, there's no immediate reason that I should go up those stairs, right? I could go into this room. I can completely go explore anywhere. And so one of the things I don't know, would it pay off, or has the team discussed maybe blocking off sections, like maybe doors that are closed that would open when those loops open? Like you'd come back down and be like, oh, this door's open now, or there's a light in front of this door and it's open.
Yep. Yeah. Two big things. First, definitely we're right now, obviously there are arches except for a few areas that have actual doors. But yeah, they will be walled off. Certain areas that you cannot go to will be walled off, and that's as simple as just throwing one of our doors in those archways.
Mm-hmm.
And then I forgot what I was gonna say for two.
Yeah, I wonder, did door, I think buildings at this time utilized a lot of pocket doors too, right? So would that be an option?
Yeah, it'll be walled off with a door that you cannot open.
Awesome.
I don't think kitchens had doors. They might have had like those swinging doors, just because, they were actually. I might be wrong about that, because I think that there was a fire concern. So there are some little bit of architectural research you could do about that.
But this is, so you do have the breadcrumbing here. Shenzilla points out minimal breadcrumbs might be an option. Kids leave spooky markers that can be followed, for example. Yep.
Yeah, and then also as simple as we call them horror events, like for example the candle things, and then once you go into the child's bedroom, that little subtitle pops up, having not only narrative but actually telling the player more or less what to do or where they should go. We already have the functionality of doing that. It's just a matter of we started writing what's going to be said in those subtitle pop-ups, as well as the quote-unquote horror events, the lights leading, the sounds leading, to make it more clear.
That's awesome. I've asked this question before, but where's the music coming from in this room?
The mobile. right?
Yeah, the music's
Okay.
coming from that, and this music was initially done by one of our designers, and now that we have, hopefully they take part of this sound. But of course, we're working with the Berklee College of Music, and they've already sent us quite a few sound samples already, which are fantastic.
Awesome.
So this is still the original sound that we've had for a very long time. But to get their sounds in, I can honestly tell you that at least I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
That it'll definitely add to the.
Well, I already like this
ambiance.
sound, so I love that idea. And even coming into this room, I know you do the camera cut, but honestly, I know that this mobile will have to change. But even if it was like slowly, slightly swinging, it would be super creepy and would lead me straight to it. I think little subtle movements like that in the environment can really go a long way with drawing the player to it.
There's zero, like, we understand this is haunted. This house is haunted, right? The name of your game tells us that, or something. And so, when you think about the House of the Dead, you think that's like there's going to be some creepy stuff happening. So I think the lights turning on, because like we're trying to solve this problem, even though that's more complex, right? The narrative is more complex.
Ooh, I love that. Sorry, Corinne, I didn't cut you out.
I saw that. Yeah.
It just gets me. Like, I think paying into those moments where it's like, Corinne, I apologize. I'm totally cutting you off. But
That's okay, but I have to go. I'm sorry, everybody. I got this crazy thing happening today, so I'll catch up with everybody later.
Well, then I feel bad I cut you off the whole time.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay, so I just went through that dark void, right? I think you could even still have what's outside of that void visible, but just a darker feeling and pay off an effect when you go through it. I just love that moment when it sends you back out into this mysterious villa. That's awesome.
Cool. Do you kind of mean like to be able to see?
But like right now it's
through
just black, right? So if it was like almost like a foggy version of the house behind it, and it like get this feeling that you pass through something ghostly, and it put you. Okay. I don't know what you have planned for it, but I think there's a way to amplify that feeling that I got going through it.
We did initially have a fog effect, because if you remember, we had more of a tunnel that you walk through, but that just didn't seem worthwhile to do it that way.
Right, because right now when I see that dark thing, it to me as a player, I'm like, oh, something's gonna happen. If you can surprise a little bit, like it feels different, and then it does something, I think you could spook people out.
Right. Yeah. And so hopefully we still have that kind of foggy effect, so that should be relatively easy to either adjust or re-implement or put back in instead of just black, obviously, right now.
So here's the veal again. So we just have a few seconds left. I want to give any of the chat an opportunity to ask any questions they have for you, as well as pitch any updates you have, any call to actions for people to playtest, any social media information, and any dates that you want people to be aware of.
Yeah, sure. I'll post our itch link in the chat momentarily. But yeah, kind of the things that I've already mentioned of, obviously this is a little bit of an older build. Hopefully we'll have that newer one with the more actual functional loops in there, as they are right now in our project. But yeah, if anybody, and this is all great feedback. I'm reading the chat as it's coming in. Yeah, the door to be more grand. Obviously, at the moment, you can't really see the door because of the block out and the lighting. So that'll be fixed. But yeah, I'll post our itch link and other items in the chat momentarily. And thanks, Gabe, for playing.
Yeah, phenomenal job, everybody. Thanks for watching as well. Be a part of the process. Go play test their game on itch. Give them feedback. They love it. Like I say, this is an older build, so as soon as you guys get a new build, like next week, I'd love to do another playthrough, even as soon as possible, because I want to see all the updates, because what you already have is fantastic, and so I'm excited to see how you juice this up.
Awesome, thanks.
All right, great job, Villa. La Villa. Villa, sorry, Villa. There we go. All right, so we're going to move on to the next game now. Yeah, and check out Shenzilla's other comments in the chat. They are awesome. Okay, Sword of Atlas. TRPG, which I'm a noob at, so this is the fun. This is going to be fun to play. V1327 thanks for the feedback and playing. You are so welcome. And thank you, everybody, for the feedback. I'm not going to lie, I have a pretty awesome job. So giving feedback on the games, playtesting, and just being here to help facilitate really is pretty awesome. So I am so happy to be here. Shenzilla says Satless for short. I like that. All right, anybody here from Sword of Atlas want to say howdy?
Yes, sir. Hello.
All right.
Okay, thanks for playing.
Yeah, of course. Tell us a little bit about your game.
Sure. So Sword of Atlas is a tactical role-playing game. And what we're trying to do here is combine a few classic RPG mechanics. So an ATB meter, kind of like old school Final Fantasy, where it's not quite turn-based, but you're waiting for your ATB meter to fill before you can make an action. And we're doing that on top of a grid. So combining some classic RPG mechanics, also trying to layer in a little bit of player choice and some narrative. So kind of a truncated RPG experience.
I love it. And is this a brand new title screen?
Yeah, it's a couple weeks old. We're still iterating on it, but yeah, we've made a couple refreshes of that.
Any changes you want to make to this?
Yeah, we're actually implementing more of a 3D scene that will overlay. So yeah, it'll have a little bit more depth to it.
I love it. Are you going to include a sword?
A sword? I don't think the sword's going to be featured in the title screen, unfortunately.
A fascinating choice. A bold choice.
Bold choice.
Bold choice. Is it gonna contain some Atlas in there?
There will have at least one Atlas.
Okay, that's 50%. At least 50% of the title will be shown.
The sword, yeah, we'll tease the sword, but Atlas has got to be there.
Shenzilla says, I like the swoopiness, but might add color contrast. I like the swoop. I agree with Shen. I actually like the blue colored tones, but yeah, there is a little bit of a contrast issue. So this is the point. I would say even shrink it down to like YouTube thumbnail size and see if you have to squint to read it.
Make sure it's readable.
Yeah, that's the real test, because when it's enlarged, it's great. But you always want to do that postage stamp test to make sure it still reads, because many devices are so small and you want to make sure it pops out. But I do love the style and the art that's going on it.
Yeah, we actually made the color choice so you could read the menu better, but lost the contrast on the logo. You're
awesome.
Right. Yep. Good call.
All right, here we go. So just new game or dev levels?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead. You go ahead and start fresh.
Here we go, friends. It's been a while. I'm excited for the new updates. So this almost feels like a fresh playthrough. Any comments are welcome. I will do I'll ask you all questions about the sprint, but I'll also try to do the think aloud approach here too. All right, here we go. Oh, beautiful. Okay, so first of all, my mouse is already hovering over these squares, which tells me immediately that I can move. Maybe. I'm clicking on them. All right,
can I start with some dialogue? We're trying to ramp you up a little bit.
Okay, that threw me off a little bit because I'm trying to click and I'm not noticing the dialogue. So something to think about. Okay, take a look around with WSD. This is awesome. Oh, this is great. This is looking fantastic.
Yeah, we're experimenting a little bit with where to put that dialogue menu to make it a little bit more obvious to the players.
I wonder if it's at points in this, I'm sure you have plans for it, but if it's going to take over gameplay if you don't put it front and center in certain moments where it's not, I don't know. You'll figure it out. But I did have some readability issues there. Okay, take a look. I did it. Don't move too quickly. Wouldn't want you falling through the hole. Great. I don't want to do that either. Left click your character to bring up the action menu.
So you see that little bar? That's the ATB meter.
Okay, perfect. Oh, I love it. That's awesome. So the red is where I can go, right?
The red, we're working on this readability because it needs to be improved. But red is your attack range and blue is your movement range.
Okay. So right click moves and then left attacks, is that?
It depends on if there's an enemy in that tile.
Okay, so this took me back into dialogue, but the UI looks the same, so I was like, why aren't I moving again? Okay. All right, me too. And then we're gonna wait until we're ready.
We're also working on I know it's a small thing, but just the pacing with this meter during dialogue, we're trying to fix so you can just keep rolling.
So one of the comments, Pokemon Master Red 98 says, loving how this game looks thus far. So on that note, what have been updated with the visuals, and what plans do you have going forward?
Yeah, visuals have been a big process for us. So we started with just a really blocked out grid. We only have 2 artists on our team, one of which is entirely 2D. So we've been trying to get creative with the art. But yeah, we've been working on textures, adding some foliage. Obviously, the readability of the grid itself we've been working with. Lots of visual work going on, still iterating around it all.
Awesome. Shenzilla commented, love it if the grid graphics reinforce the meter state. I missed some. Flares up when it's active, dimmed when it's waiting. Psycho Sama says reminiscent of the old Final Fantasy games.
Love to hear that.
Anything else to reinforce the meter state? That felt really good to beat up that guy. So now I kind of want to run over here and beat up the other one. I know we had like a Y, like basically I could go both directions, but I want to punish him.
I'm glad you're going that way. Usually people always take that right path.
There's some statistics, right, for people mostly taking the right path?
Yeah, we actually need to probably start recording some of the pathing better. But yeah, just through playtests, almost everybody takes that right path.
Fascinating. I wonder why that is.
I think it's just closer to the camera. That's what we've been talking about. Anything farther away, players seem to avoid.
Do you know what'll take care of this guy? A little malediction. I love the little UI that pops up. So I'm gonna start moving up this path, but what? And hopefully I'm playing correctly. If I'm messing up, let me know. But this is feeling good so far. Is there any plans? So right now, WASD kind of moves the screen around. Is there any plans for it to auto focus on the player at all? Auto move?
So the camera's been another thing we spent a lot of time iterating on. Right now, we're planning to test having the camera lock onto the talking character. So like right now you're talking to Neff, who's that purple character in front of you. We would have the camera center on them. We like the idea of doing it around dialogue because we found players can't really identify the conversation super well. But we liked the freedom of being able to move during combat. So We're not planning to change the combat camera. No.
Okay, that's awesome. Do the enemies only move when you're a block away is the question.
All of the enemies have their own aggro zone, depending on the encounter. So this one's more dialogue based, so you won't really notice it. But once you cross certain points in the map, that's when the enemies will start aggroing toward you. Yeah, Shenzilla, the cursor on the edge of the screen is something we've talked about. A lot of similar games use that for camera movement.
This is beautiful. So quick sprint question: what's the biggest update you had in Sprint 7?
Biggest update in Sprint 7. I mean, at this point, we're doing we have a couple maps that aren't in this build that we've been playtesting quite a bit. So the level designers, that's probably the biggest update. We haven't pushed to itch, unfortunately. We're still doing some internal playtests, but we have 2 more maps that we're working on, one of which is just about done. And that's probably been the biggest thing we've been working on top of better readability, some UI improvements, bug fixes constantly, of course, but awesome. Level design's probably the biggest for this. A lot
of level adjustments. That's awesome.
Yep.
And what are your big plans going into early access?
Yeah.
He's hurting me. He's hurting me.
Yep, he's getting you.
Oh, he's a tougher one.
So we've actually already been approved on Steam, so we are ready to launch whenever. So for early access, we're trying to kind of complete a bit of a narrative arc that's reliant on some of these levels. So we're trying to finish a few of these levels that are just about ready so that we can launch on Steam, get some testing done in early access.
Awesome.
But the Steam hurdle was a big one, so we're pretty happy to be good to go there.
Yeah, that's huge and that's awesome. Any call to action for anyone wanting to play test your game now?
Yeah, let me drop our itch in Twitch chat. So that link also has a bunch of our socials. We've been doing developer interviews, trying to do them every week. A little bit behind with the sprints recently, but
I didn't mean to do that.
If you press spacebar, it'll kind of back out of your last menu option. We need to do a little bit better job of telling the player about some of these inputs. But yeah, that itch page, we'd love to have you playtest. We have a form on there you can fill out for any feedback you have. And yeah, be sure to check out the socials linked as well. It's been pretty cool to interview the devs every week, just talking about their kind of process, their workflow, how we've approached the game design.
Oh, that's huge. That's awesome, especially for those like really interested in this genre. So I noticed the music didn't change when I'm attacking and I'm in those moments of battle. Is there any updates planned for the audio going forward?
Yes, I'm glad you asked. So we've been working with a really talented group at the Berklee College of Music out in Boston, and so they've been working on different audio tracks for us, and one of our engineers has been trying to figure out how to integrate it and blend between some of those modes. So yeah, that's a big goal we have before launching, is to get some of those audio transitions better. Especially when we have such talented audio people, we want to make sure they're implemented well.
Yeah, I think this has been repeated, but big shout out to the Berklee School of Music. Thank you so much for being a friends of EAE, and it's a great collaboration between the two schools.
Yeah, it's been awesome. I mean, there's definitely a few people in the program in our cohort who are very talented with music and sound effects, but yeah, seeing the pros do it, it's pretty awesome. Goes a long way.
So I just hit this dude with the bow. I honestly thought he was a friend, but I decided to attack him anyway. Is that?
Yep. No, that's feedback we get often. So we're working specifically on those archers to give better feedback of their attacks to the players. We think we've come a long way, kind of giving feedback for combat, but yeah, the archers need a little bit more love for sure.
Okay, great. Yeah, I kind of feel like we're fighting monsters at the beginning, and this,
yep.
He doesn't feel like he feels like a friend than foe.
One thing we tested, you see those little icons above? You'll notice that the archer has that like almost bat looking icon above it versus the party. Yeah. So that's a subtle way we're trying to show who's party and who's enemy, but yeah, that's really good feedback knowing that.
I think that was pretty
obvious.
That actually is pretty subtle. I noticed it on the other monster, but I actually, since it's kind of semi-transparent, I think the biggest thing is I would say just double down on this visual language of enemies looking like more monstrous, but
yeah, that's super helpful. Gabe, what do you think about the environment art? We've gotten mixed feedback about the styling. We liked the kind of 2D sprite on top of a more 3D environment, but yeah, any feedback you have there would be great.
So it's growing on me. That's the thing. I think you could go even more stylized with the 3D art to kind of match it a little bit more. But I think going on, I've made this comment before, but I think finding ways to integrate that the 2D sprite in with the 3D a little bit more, those puddle passes underneath, those sprites casting shadows on the 3D environment, I think you'd be surprised how well that goes into creating a synergistic kind of a relationship between the two, and marrying them together. I think the more you can make them feel less disparate, the better, if that makes sense.
No, totally. Yeah, that's really good feedback.
But I think I know you're getting kind of those strong opinions, but I personally think that I would like to see what people's opinions are after you do that. And even moments up here, like you have some shadows, I think, going through the game, but even these moving banners, if they had some shadows, and then the players themselves kind of mimicked that. Some to play with. The cheap approach would be just a puddle pass underneath it, just this shadow that projects underneath them, so it's a fake shadow. But that still would help make them feel like they belong there. It would be
like rooted in the scene.
Exactly.
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying.
So
glad to hear that you like it generally, though. I think it's grown on us as well. We find it actually quite charming a little bit, so yeah, we're pretty happy with how it's coming together, but that's really good feedback on the shadows.
I would actually like to see like you have like these blocky shapes, which I think are fine, but they still look block out compared to like these rocks behind them. So they do need a little bit more even detail around the edges, even if I had like maybe a little bit beveled with a crack going through it. I think there's some love you could give those sections. We have these really harsh angles. You can keep the angles, but I would say just make them look like they've been a little bit more weathered, maybe.
Add a little noise. Yep, that's when we were playing. When Rockstar was giving us feedback, that was one of the big things that we took from it, was just those straight edges are probably the most jarring to the style.
Yeah, so I've been watching it, like they came out, and I know we only have a minute left, but thinking about this juxtaposition that really bothers people, they have that new Chippendales Rescue Ranger movie coming out. Go check out the trailer. I don't know if it relates to this, but one of the I think it's Dale, went through a 3D procedure. So Chip is 2D and Dale is 3D, I think, through the entirety of the movie. And it really is off-putting, right? And so I think that's why people have this issue with it. But I've seen this done in other games where they have more realistic backgrounds, and most of the time they find a way to tie in the pixel art with the 3D so it feels like it belongs. And the easiest way, I think, is lighting and shadows that I would approach.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's super awesome. I'm glad seeing some of the comments, people mentioning Octopath Traveler. That was one of the original influences that we had visually. So good to see that at least part of that's coming through. But yeah, the lighting and shadow is a really good call out. Thanks, Gabe.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for letting us check out your game. Anyone who wants to check it, follow the link. Honestly, I'll probably end up posting this whole session on YouTube too. I like to market your games as much as I can and get more eyeballs on them. So I will post the itch.io links as well in the comments. But this is fantastic. Huge update for the team, and I'm excited for the early access build coming up soon.
Sweet. Thanks again.
You're welcome. All right, let's move on to the next one. And I think we left some time for chat. You know what? Just for a second, any other questions that the chat has for the team here before we move on? Psycho-sama said the wall by the bridge could use the same textures to the mountains just to give it a bit more depth. Shenzilla says great work. I concur.
Yeah, I saw comments before, some helpful feedback about how we might integrate the characters better. So yeah, thanks for all the comments.
Perfect.
Everybody.
Yeah, and I think for the team, just remember, like, all the comments typically means they're excited about your game.
Yeah, we
so
like
that's
to see it.
so that's a really good sign. Genzilla says all the above. Okay, we will move on. Awesome. We are on a final game for today. This is fifth.
Yep, did you download the latest build?
I did. At least I hope so. It's version 1.0.02.22. So
if you download it after 9:44, that will work.
I downloaded it after you told me to. So It was this one right here. There's only one now available.
That should be good.
Okay.
We still have some bugs, but that should be good.
We love bugs. We talked about bugs earlier. Let's kick off the timer here. But what can you tell us about? We've got a new name. I think it was one of the biggest news you have. Tell us about the name.
So the name, it's a stage from for butterflies that from like worm to the butterfly. I don't know the biological.
It's a caterpillar, man. Worms are.
Yeah. I supposed to learn all of these in my elementary school biology, but I don't remember them.
I love it. Well, I love the new name. Okay, let's we're gonna start it open, and then we're gonna have you do a razor pitch. Tell us about your game, all that fun information. Here we go. And this is awesome. So you're jumping us right into the action, right?
So we are on our way to complete the tutorial. The tutorial is feature complete. We're just dressing them, but after we dress it, we'll just connect it to this room.
Awesome.
So basically the razor pitch is this is a 3D horror adventure puzzle game that you're trying to escape a factory.
That's all. So what are some big updates you've had this last sprint?
So mainly the big update is the post-processing lighting of the environment, and also some of the visual updates. We have the background pretty much set. We are just now replacing, like, we have the structure set, so we're just replacing all of the stuff in the environment. So we didn't replace much in this level. So actually, if you kind of walk slower, you'll realize you are kind of sinking in this pool, I suppose. If you're not sinking, that means it's a bug. but we put that in last night, and when you walk through here, you'll kind of sink down to the sea of dolls.
Oh, that's cool. So I'm not sinking, but that's okay. So we've given a lot of feedback on this level in the past, so I won't go too much into it. Except for, can you tell us about the plans going forward with audio?
So the audio, we've been talking to the audio team in Berkeley and having the music made, having the sound effect made. So they already have some in, so we're replacing them.
You auto climbed the ladder. Thank you. Yes, Berkeley, get Berkeley on this stuff fast. That is for that level. I know there's some comments on the light, some of the wires being distracting, but to me, the biggest opportunity is with sound, and then of course with animation with those hands.
Yeah, we have a whole list down. We're going to meet them.
I love it.
This afternoon, and then we are going to give them some more tasks.
But I tell you, nothing makes me happier than just so anyone viewing, as I've commented about issues like there was an entire button press situation going on with the ladders, and it was kind of wonky. And so they just added an auto climb feature, which I think that felt so much better, Jones, even though you don't have the animations and stuff. It just makes sense. You approach the ladder, push up against it, just have the player climb it. And because it sometimes simplifying that process really makes the game better. So
yeah, we've been holding that off because our tech artists and our engineers making this new animation system that you walk a lot more smoother than before, and we wait until after that to implement this ladder change.
I love it. Psycho-sama says, yo, my guy needs some pants. Kind of looks like he's not wearing pants.
He has pants. He's just skinny. It's malnourished kid.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's darkening up the pants so that the feet and they have a more of a contrast. Shenzilla says tights. Yes, leotards to be exact. Shenzilla said better job seeing the path to the right. I love this. I like that you've added this effect here. Oh, and the red's in here, kind of that contrast. That's awesome. Okay, how do I'm using controller. Should I be using keyboard and mouse?
Yeah, we still have controller support.
So there's no icon. Is it F to do this?
So it's F, yes.
Okay. Oh, I love that. I love it so much. And it reads like it's the same place now.
So if you remember when we talked to Rockstar, we said we have a portal effects coming up.
Yeah.
So that's already done. We're just waiting to place it into the level.
That's awesome. So I don't know if I asked this, but did I ask you? I already asked you what the biggest changes. What are the biggest changes coming up for sprint number 8?
So we are currently working on set. So mainly it's set dressing these days. So we've been working on more pieces that we are going to put in the level. We're working on floors. We're working on the walls. All of that.
That's awesome. So what you're saying, visuals and juice, is that what you're working on?
Yes.
That sounds like polish. You're the polish state.
Yeah. If you want to say that, yeah.
I do want to say that. I want to say it so much, Jones.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
And also next sprint, even on Thursday, you might see something different because we are scheduled to complete the texture of the dolls today.
Yeah. Oh, this is great. Look at that. Look at me running. Look at that creepy doll after me. And then we're going to come back here. We're going to hit this again because I need to go back to the future and get away from that guy, right?
Yes. Yes.
I love it. I love it. Shenzilla says the portal effect is a key that is worth extra effort. It should be the coolest thing.
Wait, what should be the coolest thing?
The portal effect when you transition between
times.
Yeah,
it's cool. Do you want to see it?
Yeah, I'd love to see it. Can we see it now?
Yeah. Not in the game though, but I could show you what it looks like. It's really cool.
How are you going to show me?
I could just share my screen. I actually make a PowerPoint for today.
You can share the screen? Okay, share the screen. You made a PowerPoint.
Yeah,
I'm going to run through here.
Made the PowerPoint.
Look at that bear down there.
Not a bear, it's a Jack-in-a-Box robot.
No, it's a bear. Look at that silhouette. Chat, tell me that's not a bear down there. Tell me this is not Five Freddy at Nights. I'm upsetting the team. Shenzilla says this area is sweet. Anima's Wrath says that it's a bear. That's 2.
So I'm gonna send you a link
Okay.
through Slack right now.
Okay.
And then you can go to slide 4 to see the portal effect.
Awesome. I'm gonna try and open it.
Mhm.
Everybody hang tight for just a moment. Actually, here's what we're gonna do, because I don't have anything up here to do this. I'm gonna actually type in the link because it's short enough. See if I can do it. Okay, so Prezi. Oops, caps lock.
Do you want me to send you via Zoom?
Nope, because I'm on a different PC.
Oh, okay.
So everyone just bear with me. This is part of your time. It works though. It's not a long, is that an O? I
have no clue.
I think it's a 0. Underscore RD. Let's see if this works. Here we go. Oh my goodness. It worked. I'm amazing. Okay, so let's see this. How far do we go to check this out? Is this it? Oh, look at that. Okay, here it is. Is that showing?
Okay, it's back. My mic just kind of not doing its work.
Oh, you're good.
But yeah,
So-
this is the effect. So when
Okay.
you get closer,
So is that
when you get
so?
closer, the reality would break.
Okay, so is there any chance that that will be there instead of that little radio?
They will both be there.
Oh, they'll both be there. So as you get closer, that window will open, then you walk into it.
We will use the sound cue from the radio to draw the player closer to it.
And I'm
And
hoping you don't even have to press anything. You can just walk into it.
You don't. You just walk through.
Oh, okay.
That's current plan. I'm not 100% sure. We hope we can just walk through.
Okay. What does the chat think about that? Shenzilla says yes. That is a great start. Lighting particles, sound of camera shake. Bring in the juice, Jones. Bring in the juice. And then we have a lot of awesome comments about everybody agreeing with me that it looks like a bear. So, this is why we play test, right? This is why we get feedback.
Yeah, we did talk about it internal, saying Disney might send us a season. What's that called?
Disney doesn't have
Season
the.
disease
They don't
letter.
have the copyright on bears.
It kind of looked like a Mickey Mouse if you look closer.
No, he's got to have much bigger ears to be Mickey Mouse. That is not even.
Well, you will see him again in several room after.
Okay, we're gonna walk up here. This is awesome. Jones, this is awesome. Hopefully this feedback is helpful. I know we're taking some divergent. So it looks like I can't get off this. This is great. So this thing picks me up now. This has changed too. That is awesome.
Yeah, this kind of change.
I love that.
Indicates you how you will be moved in level.
And just imagine too, what I love about it is once those sound effects, once again, every one of them makes that mechanical sound effect. It can be screechy, it can sound old, and then there's the Berkeley music behind it. I cannot underestimate how important that is. So this one, we're gonna walk into that again, that portal, right? And you can even, as you walk close, it could just cut into him walking through it, and then he comes out, he pops out. Now there's no portal. The portal moves to the other side. Okay. So we still have that option to get
we
back.
did want to maybe make some more changes on the lighting because it's very hard to see you have a hole on the floor if you remember.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna grab it. I'm trying to grab it. It's not grabbing.
Oh, it's F. That's a typo.
Okay. Oh, we talked about typos, right?
Yes.
Wait, what happened?
I think you hit R and restart, or you just fell down.
Oh, I think.
But
I
it's
did.
F to interact.
Shenzilla says effect on player as you fade. It's great. Second here. In from time shift is another good opportunity. So many opportunities. It's beautiful. Now I just want to walk into it and see that thing. Now that you've shown me that portal, Jones, it's all I want. So my birthday's coming up in March. All I want for my birthday is that portal effect to just be the coolest thing in the whole game.
I'm pretty sure you will see it next week in game.
That's awesome. Okay, so F moves this. Oh, that's cool. Is there any chance you could just push against it in? I guess the F is fine. I've painted myself into a corner now. I hit R again, dude. We're gonna remove R. This is just debug, right?
Yeah, R is to reset the level. This is debug.
Okay. I have really large fat fingers, and they push R. F and R right next to each other. Okay, we're gonna try this again. Let's not mess it up this time. While we're going, we have a couple minutes left. Anything you want to pitch? Any call to action? Where can people play this game? What kind of feedback are you looking for?
Yeah, it's on itch. This is a relatively bugless version. We try our best. There's still some, but we are still fixing it. But if you want to play it, you can just go to itch and search for Chrysalis Inc. and you can play it.
Here we go. That's awesome. Okay, I'm gonna try and. Oh,
okay,
I fell
you
down.
are. Yep, that's what I just talk about. We want to fix the lighting a little bit so you can see the whole.
Yeah, readability is a huge issue, and I think from a gameplay standpoint, a lot of times we don't want to add a lot of things that make it feel too gamey or contrived.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes those opportunities are just fine. Like even if there's some way to highlight those holes and make sure like gamify them, even a highlight around them. And I'm not saying to do that, but make everything like kind of crystal clear, especially with a puzzle. You want to have all your pieces at your disposal. There's nothing that it's like giving somebody half. You have a 500 piece puzzle and you give them 250, and it's like, well, just put all these out first, right? You want to have.
Yeah, we're probably gonna add a red light under the trapdoor because it's basically a furnace to burn off all of the not qualified toys. So we're probably gonna add some red lights to show it.
Burn up the riffraff. I love that. I love it so much. This is phenomenal, Jones. Congratulations to the team. I think this has been repeated. You have a massive game. So last question I'm going to ask, and I'm going to leave it up to the chat here at the end. Any plans for scoping down? Because I know you only have, 5 or 6 weeks left of dev time.
We cut one room from a level.
Okay. Just so everybody's aware, here at EAE, we don't approve or encourage crunch culture. Sometimes students just do it to themselves. So you've got a lot of work to do. Not that this isn't masterful, but to hit that quality bar that I know you're looking for, game development just takes time. And the stuff that really takes a lot of time are the visuals, the effects, the sound, implementing all of that. It's a lot of fine tuning. But I will tell you, the bones and the structure and the design it's top notch, and I'm really proud of what you've done so far.
Cool.
Okay, any questions from the chat for Chrysalis, the newly christened Chrysalis, formerly Toy Factory Horror? A lot of good feedback from Chris up there too. A lot of great Chris feedback on the christened Chrysalis game. Shenzilla says, looking great. I'd focus on the start level as the main goal. See how far you can get. That is novel, Shenzilla. I agree with that. Pepperoni says, was trying to find it on itch to link it, but it isn't showing up on search results. Yeah, you can't look for it on Toy Factory Horror anymore. It is now Chrysalis. So if Jones, if you wouldn't mind sharing that in the chat, I think people want to check this out because it's beautiful.
Yeah, give me just 1 second. Maybe I forgot to change the link.
It's reaching a crescendo. Oh, snap. Crescendo.
Right here. Yeah, I sent it through through Twitch.
Okay. All right. Team Factory. What's your team name now? Is it Chrysalis?
R&D department of Chrysalis game.
Wait.
Chrysalis Factory.
That is your team name, R&D department of Chrysalis Game Factory?
Not game factory, but toy factory. But like, we are still figuring it out. Like, come on, we spent like 5 months on the name. Give me some time.
It's a work in progress. It's awesome. All right, there's the link, my friends. Everybody go check it out. To the team, great job. It's looking phenomenal. I'm not gonna lie, every game that we've checked out today has been amazing. Thanks for checking out the games here at EAE, and go download them, give them some feedback, and all of these will be showcased at the EAE launch party on April, I believe it's 26th or 27th. I know it's a Wednesday, but that's the ship date. That's when we hope to have all of these ready in a state that is just as far as they're going to get. So that's what to look for. Shenzilla says solid practice. Everybody, thanks for watching, and great job to all the teams today.